The West's role in Congo, the West's role in the Congo crisis, and honest recording the West's role in the Congo crisis, and honest recording. That is the speech I'm going to give today. I have to take your time. I have to cover people. 3 months, reminding myself I'm not free until everyone is free. That's the way is quite important. My brothers and sisters, my fellow Africans, our allies from coast to coast, from Central to Western, from Sudan to Somalia, from Uganda to Toronto, everyone in this capacity, in his respective operation, will stand together. We gather today, not just in solidarity with the people of Congo, but in absolute outrage against the forces that continue to breathe our continent dry. The crisis in Congo is not just a mystery. It is not just a tragic accident. It is a direct result of decades, centuries of Western intervention, plunder, and complicity in mass violence and genocide. The series of Goma is not just an isolated event. It is part of a long and bloody history, a history of exploitation, of war, of Western-backed regimes that serve foreign interests while betraying our own people. Today, these numbers must have multiplied the number of times I may know. But I can say that over 2,900 of our Congolese brothers and sisters are dead. Others are hospitalized, others are displaced. Thousands more have been displaced. Hundreds of women, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our children have been raped and burned alive. Shame! But the question is why? Why? Ask me why? Why? Because of the wealth of the Congo is worth more to the world than the lives of the people who live in Congo. The minerals beneath the soil of Congo the world. They are your phones, they are my phones. And as I read to this speech on my phone, I feel convicted, I feel guilty of what is in Congo, but I'm doing something to raise the voice so that the oppressed can be free. They are your phones, I repeat. They are your laptop, they are my laptop. They are your cars. Whether the streetcar, all the trains, all the Mercedes, those cars you see, they are the blood of Congo. The very same corporation that claim to be selling you those future are buying that future with the blood of the Congolese children. Forced to mine cobalt with their bare hands, and let's be absolutely clear, this is not accident. This is by design. This story is not. This story did not begin today. It did not begin with the Rwandese genocide of 1994, but it was in 1994 that the West, particularly France, Britain, and the United States of America, chose to turn the Congo into a battlefield that would never see peace again. But we come to change that narrative. Congo, Congo, you will be free. Congo, Congo, you will be free. France enabled the escape of the genocidal forces that massacred 800,000 Tutsi and moderate Hutu in Rwanda. Under Operation Turquoise, the French military created a safe corridor for the very people who had organized and executed the genocide. Most of these Frenchmen and women were actually faith leaders who remembered the role of the church in the genocide. And shame to the church, shame upon you. Hutu extremist militias, political leaders, and army officers, these genociders were not defeated. They were merely relocated, and where did they go? They crossed into what was then Zaire, today's Democratic Republic of Congo, where they continue their massacres, killing Congolese Tutsi, moderate Hutu, and anyone who stands in their way. And the world let it happen. Shame. Now let us talk about the lion in the house, the lion in the room. The United Nations. The United what? The United Nations, which had already failed to stop the genocide in Rwanda, now fails to stop its continuation in Congo. The genocidal militias, later known as the FDLR, found sanctuary in Congo, supported by elements of the Congolese army and backed by international negligence. The UK and France, instead of demanding justice, instead of prosecuting those who planned and executed the genocide, protected them. Shame. To this day, known sheltered from accountability. Many of those are even within Canada, but they cannot come to the streets here to save the Congolese women and children. Poor innocent. Shame. And while it is easy to point fingers at Rwanda, yes, Rwanda, after accepting to be used to kill our African brothers and sisters, it should be clear. It should be clear that Rwanda is complicit of genocide, but we should also understand how Kagame is a puppet of the regime of the West. The United States, again, the lion in the room. The United States and the UK backed the rise of new regimes in Rwanda and Uganda. Uganda, particularly where I come from, the NRM regime was backed by the United States and the UK. The place where, as I come to stand by the people of Congo during this difficult time, I remember the people I lost to the 1980 to 1986, 1980, between 1980 to 1986, when Museveni wanted to take power, assisted by Kagame himself. He staged a war in Uganda, which is remembered as the 1980-1986 Luwero Bush War, which he staged in my homeland, attracting many of those who wanted change, calling him a liberator. 39 years later, he is one of the world's longest dictators, and he's also complicity in what's happened in Congo. He dines with the Kagame and other allies to oppress fellow Africans in their own land. Shame. That continues to be the case of the story. It continues to be. We continue to see more of the push factors, even when we see more of the annual coming factors. For example, in the US, the mass deportation is there, but the push factors like the Congo violence is not catered for. And the question of the day, where will the Son of Man run for a safe haven? And the question is that, is even Canada still a safe haven? Those are questions to meditate upon as we continue to stand with Congo. And as I come to the conclusion, I ask you to listen to a few more of what the world needs to know, because we've come to be the voice of the voiceless, the voices of the children, the voices of the fallen who can speak now. The United States and the UK backed the rise of new regimes in Rwanda and Uganda, seeing them as allies in their so-called war on terror, and in their economic expansion of Africa, in what I can really call the scramble for resources. The minerals of Congo, gold, cobalt, coltan, diamonds, becomes the prizes to be won in a proxy war. Uganda, Rwanda, and other regional players become instruments of global capitalism. Shame. Serving the interests of multinational companies, corporations, while the people, I must stick there, serving the interests of multinational corporations like Apple, like Tesla. Mention them. While the people of Congo continue to suffer to death. And today, the bloodshed continues. The same international powers that pretend to advocate for peace fuel the war through armed sales, economic interests, and political complicity. The same powers, the same Western media that tell us they care about human rights, that tell us they care about human rights, ignores the fact that their governments are directly responsible for the suffering of millions. Today we want to say more. Today we want to say no more. We want to say enough is enough. We demand an end to the hypocrisy and double standard. We demand an end to the lies. We demand that the United Kingdom, France, the United States, European Union, China, and Russia and Canada take responsibility for the roles they have played in the destruction of the Congo and its people. We demand that the genociders still protected by the Western countries be extradited and prosecuted. We demand an end to the exploitation of Congolese resources by multinational corporations that profit of the suffering of our people. We demand an end to the scramble for resources, which replaced the scramble and partition, the historical scramble and partition, the colonialism, neocolonialism. Now we demand the end. We demand the end of the scramble for resources. Which resources will help us in our homes, and we don't need to really be displaced to seek refuge. And to my brothers and sisters, know this. The liberation, you have to know that the liberation of the Congo is the liberation of Africa. I want to repeat to my brothers and sisters from Africa and all over the world, the liberation of Congo is the liberation of Africa. And I want to thank you for standing by Congo. You are standing with the liberation of the whole of Africa. You are standing by the liberation of Palestine. You are standing by the liberation of Gaza. You are standing with the liberation of Sudan. You are standing with the liberation of all the oppressed people and all the oppressed countries and all the oppressed communities. You're standing during this Black History Month. You are standing with the oppression of the black people. As I conclude, to my brothers and sisters, we must unite. We must fight, not with guns, but with knowledge, with economic power, with political will. We must stand, we must demand justice, not just for the Congo, but for every African nation and every oppressed nation in the world. We must respect the energy and the strength of our allies and stand with them from Asia, from every corner where oppression is the order of the day. But for every African nation that has been torn apart by foreign greed, we will not be silent. We will not be passive. Congo must rise. Africa must rise. And we will stand, and we will stand with them until victory. Remembering the words of Martin Luther King, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Viva Congo, viva!
Thank you.